Okay, so today we're talking about percent of change. We're going to find the percent of increase and decrease, and we're going to solve real-world problems involving markup and discount. So this first part just says in 1999 there were 2,090 California sea otters. By 2009, that number had risen to 2,654. So how many more sea otters were there in 2009 than in 1999? Well, all you have to do is subtract the amount in 2099 or in 1999 from what was in 2099. And that would give you a total of 564. Then they want us to write a ratio of the amount of increase, so 564 over how many were in 2000 or in 1999. That would be 2,090. And we would just divide those and move the decimal, and so a percent would be 27%. So the percent of change would be 27%. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to find that percent of change. So percent of change is a ratio that compares the change in quantity to the original amount. And so we're going to be working with this equation. If the percent is positive, the percent of change is a percent of increase. If the percent is negative, the percent of change is called a percent of decrease. All right. So we are to find the percent of change from 60 degrees to 84 degrees. Then state whether the percent of change is an increase or decrease. So we could subtract to find the amount of change. Now you're always going to take the final amount and then subtract the original amount. And that gives you the amount of change. So it's the final, minus the original. So 84 minus 60 is 24. And now we go back to the equation that I was telling you about. Percent of change equals amount of change over the original. So it would be 24 over the original is 60. So 24 over 60, which when you divide that, that's 0.4. Now you have to move your decimal 2 places over so you get 40%. And since it's a positive number, it's a percent of increase. Okay? It's an increase. All right. So this one says, find the percent of change of 75 yards to 54 yards. So we would say 54 minus 75, and then we're going to put that over the original, 75. So 54 minus 75 is going to be a negative 21 over 75. Okay? Then all we have to do is take negative 21, divide it by 75, and you're going to have a negative 0.28. Now we need to change that to a percent. We can move that decimal over 2 places to the right or multiply it by 100, and we're going to get negative 28%. So the percent of change is negative 28%. It's a percent, or it's a decrease. Okay, percent of decrease. All right, so you try these two, come back and see how you did. All right, let's see how you did. You would do the final amount minus the original, 16 minus 22, divided by the original, 22. Then you give me negative 6 over 22, which would equal negative 0.27 repeating. When I change that to a percent, it would be negative 27.3%. Of course, that is a decrease. And then on number 2, it would be 10 minus 8 divided by the original 8. So 2 divided by 8, or 0.25, change it to a percent, would be 25%. That is a percent of increase. All right. So now we have McKenna had 318 stamps. Now she has 273 stamps. Find the percent of change, round to the nearest tenth if necessary, then state whether the percent of change is an increase or decrease. So we take the final amount. Now she has 273 stamps, and we subtract the original amount. She had 318 stamps. And then we divide it by the original amount. So we would have 273 minus 318 divided by 318, which would be negative 45 divided by 318, and we get this decimal. We then could just simply move our decimal 2 places over, and it says round to the nearest tenth, so it would be negative 14.2%. And since this is negative, it's going to be a percent of decrease. Okay? All right. So remember, final amount minus original amount divided by original amount. So this one says find the percent of change from 24 points to 18 points. State whether the percent of change is an increase or decrease. So we would have the final amount, 18, minus the original amount, 24, all divided by the original amount, 24. So 18 minus 24 is going to give me negative 6. That's over 24. And that's going to give me a negative 0.25. We change that to a percent, and we have a negative 25%. And that is a percent of decrease. Okay? All right. So now we're going to talk about using markup and discount. A store sells an items for more than it pays for those items. The amount of increase is called the markup. The percent of markup is a percent of increase. The selling price is the amount the customer pays for an item. All right. So we are to find the selling price if a store pays $42 for a pair of rollerblades and the markup is 25%. So you go into a store, you're going to buy a pair of rollerblades. The store bought rollerblades for $42 from a warehouse, okay, from the people that make the rollerblades. Then they mark it up to make a profit, so they marked it up 25%, and so they're going to sell it to us for a selling price. So there's one of two ways we could solve that. We could take the markup percent, change it to a decimal, and multiply it times what the store pays. So that's 0.25 times 42, and that's going to give me the markup amount of 10.5. Then I just simply add that back to what the store pays, and that would give me the selling price of $52.50. Okay? The other way I could do that is I know what the store pays is 100%. Then they're going to mark it up or increase it by 25%. So that would be 125%. And then I can simply take that and multiply it to what the store pays. So 1.25 times 42 gives me 52.5 or $52.50. It's the same answer. You can do it either way. It's just two ways to come up with the same information. So it's your choice how you decide to do it. All right. So find the selling price if a store pays $167 for a set of luggage and the markup is 38%. So let's do it both ways. So the first way, I would take, change my percent to a decimal and look for the markup. So that would be 0.38 times 167, okay? That's going to give me a markup of 63.46. Then I simply just take the 167 plus 63.46, and I'm going to end up with, let's see here, 46, 0. $230.46, okay? The second way is I would have 100% plus 38%, which would give me 138%. So I simply, to find the selling price, I can take 1.38 times 167, and it needs to come up with, and it does, $230.46. Same amount. So it doesn't matter which way you choose to do it. Okay? All right. Try this one. Come back and see how you did. All right, let's see how you did. So I did it both ways on here. So you should have came up, no matter which way you did it, should have came up with $800. So the first way was to find the markup amount. So 0.6 times 500 equals 300. 300 plus 500 is $800. Or I could take 60% plus 100% is 160%. So 1.6 times 500 is 800 or $800. All right, very good. All right, so now we're looking at discounts. Discount is the amount by which the regular price is reduced. The percent of discount is a percent of decrease. So it says, Summer Sports is having a sale. A volleyball has an original price of $59. It is on sale for 65% off the original price. Find the sale price of the volleyball. So you go into a store, it has a price tag on a volleyball for $59 and has a sign above it that says sale 65% off. And you want to know, how much do I pay for it? How much is it going to cost me? Do I have enough money? So here's how you can do it. You could find the discount. So I could take the 65% or 0.65 times the $59. And that would give me a discount of $38.35. Since it's a decrease, we're going to be subtracting that from the original amount of $59. And when I take 59 minus the discount of $38.35, the volleyball is going to cost me $20.65. Okay? Now, I can also do it the other way. This time, since it's a decrease, instead of adding it to 100%, I could subtract 65% from 100, and so I'm only going to pay 35% for the volleyball. So I could say the selling price is going to be 0.35 times 59 or $20.65. So again, either way, this time we're just subtracting instead of adding like when we do the markup. So this one says, find the sale price of a purebred German Shepherd puppy that is regularly $450 and is on sale for 35% off. All right. So the first method, we could take find the discount by saying 0.35 times 450, and that would give me the discount amount of $157.50. And then we would just take the original 450 and subtract $157.50. And that's going to give me $292.50 is what the German Shepherd puppy is going to cost. The other way I could do it is 100% minus 35%, and that's going to equal 65%. So I'm going to be paying 65% for that German Shepherd puppy. So I could just say the selling price equals 0.65 times 450, and that's going to give me 290, let's erase that. 292, oh man, I can't get it out. 292.5 or $292.50. Okay? All right. You try this last one and see how you do. Come back and check it out. All right. Let's see how you did. Should have got $11.24. Didn't matter which way you tried it. If you tried it the first method, you would add 0.25 times $14.99 and ended up with a discount of $3.75. Subtract that from the $14.99 and you ended up with $11.24. The second method, you would take 100%, subtract 25%, so all you're paying is 75%. And you would say the selling price is equal to 0.75 times 14.99, which is $11.24. All right, if you got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day.